This is an idea about how we can improve the way we share information today in our society, thanks to students and thanks to Wikipedia. First of all, a few words about Wikipedia. It is the 5th most popular website today. It has 40 million articles, and it is the biggest source of information. It is surprisingly accurate as Britannica Encyclopedia, which is one of the most renowned encyclopedias worldwide. It is also surprising that it is written entirely by volunteers for free. And of course, Wikipedia is a non-profit organization, even because it is hard to persuade people to work for free for a company. Let me ask you, imagine if I had come to you 20 years ago and said, I have this brilliant idea, let's make a website. It's going to be big. It is an encyclopedia. It is going to defeat all the competition out there, and it is going to be written by people for free, and it's going to be accurate and surprisingly used. What would have you thought about this idea? What would have you said? I would have thought that this was a bad idea, but in fact, I would have been wrong, because I believe that Wikipedia is an amazing example of beautiful things that mankind can achieve. So, we said it is the biggest source of information today, but where is Wikipedia now? How much do we get from Wikipedia now on a specific topic? Let me explain what I mean with another question to you. Do you remember when you wrote your master's thesis? Or for those of you who are students, perhaps someone is writing their master's thesis. Students usually put a big effort in writing their thesis. They spend a lot of time in doing that, and they will start writing an introduction to a certain specific topic that will be used by their readers to understand, to get a proper scenario about that specific topic. In order to become, let's say, an expert on that topic, you needed first to ask to someone else, hey, can you please suggest me some books, some materials, some papers, something that I can study to become an expert? And it takes a lot of time and effort to find good references, good materials to read. And usually the best shortcut to this is an expert who suggests you something. So, if the introduction that you wrote on your thesis gives to your reader 100%, just call it 100% on that specific topic, how much does Wikipedia give to the same reader on that specific topic? Or how much did it give to that topic, in that topic at that time? Well, I've asked many people, and the answers range between 10 to 60%, depending on the topic, of course. Me, myself, I'm a PhD in mechanical engineering, so in my field, this is especially true, but I'm sure that it works in many other fields too. Why am I telling you this? Because there is a big improvement that we still can easily achieve on Wikipedia and the way we share information today. In order to understand how we can achieve this improvement and the so-called wiki endorsing thesis, I would like to make first a comparison between a standard thesis and a wiki endorsing thesis. So, when a student starts to do the master's thesis work, for example, there is a first period that usually lasts anywhere between 6 to 10 months, in my example, and where the student does some studying and researching. Then it comes the time to actually write the thesis and the innovative content of the work carried out by the student. The thesis is divided into two parts: an introduction that has a content that is suitable for Wikipedia. As you might know, Wikipedia only accepts well-established information, so something that is already accepted by the scientific community, because being a general-purpose encyclopedia, this is the way it should be. The second part of the thesis is the innovative part, and this has a content that is not suitable for Wikipedia, but is definitely could be interesting to specific readers. So in a wiki-endorsing thesis, studying and researching and the innovative part writing are exactly the same. So the student will work as usual. What changes is the introduction writing that is substituted with improvements on Wikipedia. So instead of spending, let's say, 1 month writing the introduction, the student will perform the same amount of time, will spend the same amount of time improving Wikipedia. I will come back later on how. And the introduction will be substituted by quick links to Wikipedia articles that the reader should know to get an understanding of the topic. The articles must be linked at a specific date, and I'll come back to this later on too. First of all, let me tell you the potential advantages of this. First, a standard thesis is hard to find. It might take your readers weeks, months, perhaps forever to find your thesis, even though it is a good work. While your contribution, whatever it is, to Wikipedia is immediately available to anyone. It takes a few minutes to get to it, and it is usually a very good starting point. In other words, if you're a student, your thesis is read by very few people. For those of you who are students, I'm sorry to say that, but get ready to this. You're going to spend a lot of time for a work that is a good exercise for you, will definitely improve the way you master information and your topic, but it's not going to be useful to many people, usually. While anything that is written on Wikipedia, of course, is read by many. I believe this is rewarding for the student and also useful for the society. Third, last but not the least, a standard thesis is hard to standardize. This is especially true in my field, in engineering field, where we have a lot of math, formulas, equations, symbols, different names for the same concept, different concepts with the same name, and so on. If you work on Wikipedia, you are more likely to push standardization, meaning either by adopting a standard that is already out there, or by setting a new standard that you like more, or by anyway setting fewer standards than before. Is this feasible now? Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a mechanical engineer, but I've talked to quite a lot of people, and legally speaking, the answer is yes. There is no special requirements. There are no special requirements in many developed countries as regards how the thesis is written. This is mainly chosen by the professor and the students, and it's his students. So if the professor and the student, of course, is okay with that, yes, now. So how does a wiki endorsing thesis work? Let's provide a quick example that will give you some additional details to what I just said. Usually, the student will start with a proposal, as usual, thesis proposal. They agree with the professor on a specific topic. Then it comes the time where the student has to do some studying and researching. And during that time, the student will most likely find some improvements on Wikipedia, some potential work that is useful to other people to better understand a specific topic that the student knows much better than Wikipedia can explain now. This could be anything. It could be restyling. Wikipedia needs that a lot. It could be better references, up-to-date references. It could be translations. It could be multimedia content, for example, pictures, animations, any kind of multimedia content that is useful to your reader to understand the topic. And it could be also a revision of other people's work. This is also very important. I believe that checking in real time what other people are writing on Wikipedia is a good exercise that we should all do once in a life. Then it comes the time to write the thesis. As I said, the student will only write will not write the introduction, but he will do some improvements on Wikipedia. It is better if the improvements are done as registered users, because it is easier for people and for the professor also to check exactly what the student did. The introduction is only composed by a very short introduction with a list of links that the reader should read, and those links are at a specific date. Then there is the innovative part, as usual, and then it comes the time for the professor to revise the work, as usual. So the standard paper thesis check, plus the check on Wikipedia content. So you are probably wondering, why can this work? I mean, a thesis is not something that is meant to be changed, right? A thesis is a thesis. So it's something that I write now. It works now with my content. So how can I substitute my work with a tool that changes over time by random people or all over the world without control, apparently without control? Well, the answer is that there is a very easy feature, but mostly unknown, of Wikipedia, that is the page history, the view history button here of any pages, that will give you the possibility to access an article at any specific date that you wish, after any change that was made. For example, this is the page of Mr. Dante Alighieri that we love so much. And this is taken 2 days ago, but as you can see, this is not the article as it is now. This is an old revision of the page, as edited by this guy on 22nd of December 2008. The summary of the change is called Conform Both Titles to Use Cenotaph. There is a permanent link to this 2008 version. And of course, if you click on diff here, here, and there, you can see all kinds of differences between the previous version, the next version, the current version. This is very useful to revise the work. And this will allow anyone to access your content that you used with those conventions, with those information exactly as it was, so that there is no problem in understanding the innovative part of the thesis. In order to make this happen, we need students and professors above all, because professors are those who have the power to make this happen. Students might ask, but of course professors have to do the move. So if you are a professor and you want to do a week endorsing thesis, please feel free to join the Facebook page of the week endorsing thesis and let us know the amazing contribution of your students to the worldwide knowledge.